Hey, and welcome to STEM Stories with Mr. Ewing. We're going to talk about the science and math of sports. And you're probably thinking to yourself, Mr. Ewing, what does science and math have to do with sports? It's got everything to do with sports. And your major athletes, actually all athletes, not only are they incredibly gifted at the sport that they've chosen through hard work, determination, perseverance, and practice, but they're also highly educated in the science and math of sports. Every sport you can think of involves science and math. Basketball, the different angles where it hits the basketball, the force, the trajectory of the ball. Bowling, all about the angles and how you hit certain pins to ricochet them off into other pins. It's all science and math. Croquet, the simplest of, it's not simple, but what appears to be a simple game, science and math. Football, all science and math. Golf, same thing. We're talking about angles, gravity, force. It's all science and math. Gymnastics of all sports. Not only do they have to be able to use their body in a way to get to different angles, but also providing or forcing or pushing their bodies into different formations that are all angle based. Table tennis, or what we call ping pong, science and math. Billiards, or what we call pool, science and math. Actually, the algebra behind hitting the cue ball to get it to where you want to go is actually a pretty amazing formula. Soccer, or what everyone else in the country or the world calls football, science and math. So you're probably asking yourself, or maybe you're not, but you should be, what is the science of math? Well, we're going to focus on baseball today. Now, baseball actually involves a tremendous amount of angles. The most common angle that we know of is our right angle, or what we know is 90 degrees. But in order for, say, a hitter to actually get the ball to go to a certain point, or a home run, or a grounder, there's a certain angle involved. And the whole, actually, baseball field, the diamond, everything is a very set of specific angles and measurements that are involved. Now, when you get to the science of baseball, gravity plays a big factor into it, because when the ball hits up, gravity is actually going to put it into, or pull it back to the ground. So angle and the force of the hitting of the baseball is super important to almost defy the laws of gravity. And the cool thing about baseball is it actually uses a lot of the same physics that an airplane uses. And I love this illustration from NASA. Lift, weight, drag are all the same components that an airplane uses to get off the ground and actually be able to fly. So when they call it a fly ball, there's actually a reason for it. Now, another part or component of the science of baseball is force. And right here in this illustration, we see what something is called balance force. When the pushing of force from either side of an object is equal, that object won't move. Now, in baseball, if we have something that's called unbalanced force, when the force is greater than the force from the other side. And in this illustration, there's no force from the other side that we can see, therefore giving it an unbalanced force, and then that ball moves. There's some really amazing images that actually show this. And if you have some time, do some research and just put in baseball striking bat. And it's amazing how hard we think that baseball is. When that baseball actually hits the bat, it actually smushes around the bat. It's really, really cool. You can see it in the other picture where that ball is almost conforming onto the bat and then going off with force from the unbalanced force and into the field. So that is the basic math and science behind baseball. And we're going to actually use a couple projects in this series of lessons to put what we're learning about angles, force into practice and see how it actually affects the game of baseball. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about the science and math of sports. You know what? I really encourage you, whatever sport activity that you love doing, do a quick search. Say you love jumping rope, put jumping rope, math, science, and you'd be amazed at the really, really cool things that you can learn about the math and science of the activities and sports that we all